Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a recipe for beef stew and biscuits, but my intro did sadly get lost. I don't understand how. So here we are just cutting up the vegetables we need for this. I was just showing you that I had almost cut my thumb, my nail, but I didn't. And you see little beastie, he just wants his treats. He loves playing and eating his treats. But so the recipe called for one white onion, and I did not have a white onion. I bought purple onions. So I had to use what I had, which was a purple onion. And here I had very high goals of using a lot of those potatoes, but you will see we do not use all those potatoes because my Dutch oven is a very small Dutch oven. And now we're pulling out the carrots, and I am looking for my peeler. Oh, with those, I'm gonna do with the peels. I am going to do vegetable broth. I did not peel the potatoes before I put the potatoes in, but I don't really mind if my potatoes have skin. I did wash them, so to me it doesn't bother me. The carrots, I know if you wash them, I've seen people scrub them with tinfoil. It gets all the peels off right away, or like it peels it for you. I've just never tried that method, and for me, why when I can just put all those in and make very yummy vegetable broth. I love vegetable broth. I do want to make chicken broth, beef broth, and I want to make bone broth. I know there is a difference that the bone broth is richer and it is better. So I definitely want to dabble in making all of those. I did find a recipe for canning beef stew, which I do definitely want to try. But this was like I said was my first time ever making beef stew in the Dutch oven. You probably didn't hear me saying that because I said that in my intro. But this is my first time ever making beef stew in the Dutch oven. I really enjoyed cooking my beef stew in the oven. This was my first time I was able to do that, and I just think it's such a fun twist on beef stew for somebody like me who either didn't buy a Dutch oven for so long or just never grew up cooking in them. Next up is going to be an immersion blender and a cast iron skillet, you guys. I'm excited. So the recipe, guys, does call for 3 pounds of beef. I only have a pound and 0.25. So I don't even have a whole, what the recipe calls for. But my puppy's playing by where I have it, my tripod. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pat the beef dry. I'm gonna make up for, sorry, I always get a little confused. I'm gonna make up for not having as much beef by the potatoes and the carrots, and I think it's gonna work just fine. So we're gonna save that in case I need it. Pat. Put it in there. All right. Oops. We need every last piece. I've never tried this recipe. I'm also doing homemade biscuits. So we're gonna get this going. It does say to preheat the oven to 325, I think. So after we get this in there, I'll preheat the oven. I have never, see, look at so many firsts. I have never made beef stew in the Dutch oven because I never had a Dutch oven until this year. So I'm very excited for that, and I've never made homemade biscuits. No barking, Daddy's sleeping still. Okay, so I did check. It does say 325. We're letting the olive oil heat up right now, and then we will add the beef and we will season it with salt and pepper and brown it and crisp it. Then we're going to take it out of the Dutch oven and put it on this plate, and we'll go back over there and see what the directions say. But I'm super excited. It's a very chilly day. I wanted to do this yesterday, but after I got home from picking up my kids by my mom's house, well, I only met her halfway, but I was so tired. I was like, pizza rolls for dinner. But we will get there where I don't say that. Yes, I definitely do want to get to the point where I don't say pizza rolls for dinner, especially if they're store-bought pizza rolls. I definitely want to get into making everything we buy as much as I can homemade. So our meat has been cooking. When I see the meat inside the pot, I'm like, is this going to make enough? If it doesn't, I will make it second pot onto the other stove, and it just will not be as good. We'll improvise. There's my puppy, he's wild. There we go. We'll improvise, no worries here. So we're gonna turn the heat back down. I am reading the directions as I go. It did say, maybe I should just do this. I don't think that's grease. We'll quick go. Okay. So we are going to then add another tablespoon. Add the onions. This recipe called for 7 minced garlic cloves, like peeled and minced. So I don't know what 7 is, but I know it's a lot. I think that's good enough. So I'm supposed to add the balsamic vinaigrette. We got this as a gift from my husband's work. I've never had the chance to open it. Alright guys, so the next step is to add the tomato paste. And I saved mine. I think it comes in squeezies, but I saved mine because of that. Alright, add the onions, garlic, balsamic vinaigrette, cooking, stirring with a wooden spoon, scraping the brown bits, add the tomato paste and cook for 1 more minute. Add the beef with the juices back. So, tomato paste. When I did see the meat and everything adding into this pot, I definitely thought I did not have enough room in my pot for everything that was going to be needed to fit into it. But I am excited to say I just cut back on the potatoes a little and I was able to fit everything into this pot. And it was so delicious. It had my house smelling so good. And I don't know if that is because it was baked instead of on the oven, which seems silly because you think just as much as it's on the oven that it will release those aromas and you could just light up the whole house. That smells so savory and so delicious. Now, this recipe did call for red wine, but I had none. So that's it for now. I don't know if my Dutch oven's big enough. We are going to bring this to a boil and then we're going to transfer it in the oven for 2 hours. And I will bring you guys back when it's in a boil and when we're putting her in the oven. And then meanwhile, we'll start our biscuits. You will see me talking here because I don't know what happened to my audio file. So I'm just jumping in to fill in for past me and talk to you guys about the biscuits. The biscuit recipe was easy. I still think I followed it. My youngest son, who is my biggest critic, he will eat what I cook, but he doesn't always give me the credit for how good it is. These biscuits, even though I think at the end I'll tell you that they're floury, they taste a little floury. When I was pushing down on them, I must have added too much flour to my work surface, and that's why my biscuits were floury on the outside. I probably should have did an egg wash or like a little bit of egg and butter. Do people do that? But that's what I think I'll do next time, or not use so much biscuits flour to roll out my biscuits or press them out. I also found out, because I don't have a pastry cutter, and this recipe, they said, go ahead and use a cheese grater. It will be just fine. And I did take that cheat, and I do think it worked just fine. Like, if I get a pastry cutter or come to that point in my culinary career, then I will get a pastry cutter. Because like I said, I'm getting an immersion blender, and I am getting, goodness gracious, I already forgot. I just said it too, an immersion blender and something else. That's going to bother me because I feel like I have short-term memory loss that I can't remember. But this is where I realized I put too much flour on that workspace and I was working with my dirty flour hands. I did the best I could, and I will say these biscuits got critically acclaimed from my son. He said they are not dry. But we really don't have a lot of biscuits at home, like even canned biscuits. So maybe down at his grandma's house, he's my little biscuit connoisseur, but he gave me the gold star of approval. So I will definitely make these again. And I definitely want to make cinnamon toast crunch because he is the king of that. And I would love to do that for him. All right, you guys, these are the biscuits. I tasted some. I'm sad to report they taste a little floury. Now over here, this is why I don't, hold on. We're gonna go look and see what's going on. There goes Ted and Beast. You have to be nice. Okay, that's why I don't film with them out together. Here is the stew. Now to me, the stew looks a little red when you're like that, but then once you give it a stir, it's beautiful. So I'm going to scoop some up and try this for you guys. Try and do this one-handed. Okay, guys, so I wanted to sit down at my dining room table and try bite with you. The meat I did try, so good. The flavor is definitely there. Really good. Now my homemade biscuit. I like to dip mine in. So good. A little floury, but that's to be expected. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna finish my dinner. Please make sure to comment, like, subscribe. One more bite. The recipe will be in the description down below for both. Thank you guys so much.